"81 Ways to Create New Value in the World. How to Combine Experts, Apps, and Libraries." And even as I say that, you might be wondering, where does 81 ways come from? And I'd like to share that with you because I counted them. Here's the math. This is an excerpt from a long chat where I asked data scientists to take experts, apps, and libraries and combine them in sequences, reveal the underlying math, and lay out the possibilities. Now, for those of you that are really into the math, let me share with you what I don't have in this chat by going back and seeing, picking, I think it's right at the top of this. I highlighted in red. Did you all know how to do that? How many know how to turn something in your interaction, that's what we call one of these, into red? Irene, do you know how to do that yet?
I don't think I could explain it, but I think I could figure it out if I got in there. I haven't tried.
I believe that, yes. This is a preamble, so it's okay, then, and I use these sort of organic opportunities to underscore the teaching because it reinforces things we've learned. And we're going to talk about this more later, but all you do is click the edit button. And what's new here for those of you that tried this before is we've also upgraded the editing capabilities so that you can now edit in color and you can edit in different bolds. And so imagine you were writing something for a customer. You could now take the interaction, delete, edit, color, bold, and turn it into something ready to present. So watch, I just take this, boom, and I hit bold. Now it's in bold. And let's make it purple, boom, or pink, see? And so in fact, I had someone on my last call say this to me. That looks like a cool feature. It's much more than that. It's a way to optimize your communication to produce visual impact and thus improve your overall conversion rate. If you want to share interaction and you want it read, make it easier to read. Here it is. You've even got undo features and all of that in this toolbar. So that has been stood up, and I'm going to cancel right here. And I just want you to see what happened. This is my conversation with data scientists, and this is an advanced tip for some of you. He can analyze data. You can feed spreadsheets. Look at what's happening here. This is the underlying math. These are the key elements. And in the end, we had so many permeations and combinations that I had to introduce rules so that this wasn't 16 million ways to combine such things. And to do that, I went to the next step. I said, I'm looking for you to give me a number directly. Answer this question. What are the maximum number of possibilities? And then we eventually added a rule. And by adding a rule, we were able to arrive at 81. And then I said, Irene, the marketing professor, please review the entire conversation, unify it, make it easier to understand, write a short article explaining the approach, the why, and the how we arrived at 81 possibilities. And there is marketing professor reading the previous conversation, producing an article based on it. So if somebody said, how did you get to 81? Here it is. Now, some people don't have the math skills to do that. Some people do have the math skills. Those that do typically don't have the time. Those that don't even have the option. You can start to, here's an advanced tip. You can raise the bar in the areas of your own growth as a marketer or entrepreneur where you're weak by leveraging MeclabsAI. For instance, I had two people on the last call. One is very much mathematical, and the other was very much, here's how I described them. I said, you strike me as one person who enjoys a spreadsheet, and you strike me as one person who would prefer to work in Word. They both confirmed. Did you know that you can divide almost all marketers into those two groups? Isn't it true? How many of you have sometimes felt an underlying sense of maybe insecurity about, I don't have that part. I don't know how to do that kind of analysis. I wish I did. Now, folks, you are more than a well-rounded marketer. You are complete. MeclabsAI is not a software platform. It's a prosthetic. How many of you think that what Musk is doing with Neuralink, putting a chip in your brain, is kind of smart, but you don't want to do it yet? right? I got my chip right here, and I'm not going to put it in my brain just yet. I have put its heuristics on in my head. You can see it right there. But in general, understand now there's no reason that you need to be a marketer with holes, a marketer with gaps. You'll be a better marketer if through 050 you learn to manage your SWAT team well, to produce any output you need in areas that before you had weaknesses. And Leon, if I was talking to an enterprise partner about their marketing team, and many of them are afraid, marketers of being replaced, my argument would be just the opposite. Let's make every marketer in your organization a genius who can do 10 times the work. Who doesn't want that? Does anybody remember, and I'm going to move on, but we're right on track with where we're going. Does anybody remember an old show? Now, this, you'd have to be nearly as old as Adrian, and that's super old, I mean, Alexander, you weren't even a thought when this show was produced. It's called The $6 Million Man. Anybody remember The $6 Million Man? Yeah, Lee Majors. He was a former astronaut who became a movie star. And the idea was, well, he was a movie star, and the goal was an astronaut who had a crash, and they rebuilt his body with modern technology. It took $6 million. Dude, that was a bargain. Don't ask me how much this took. Because it was more than $6 million. $6 million back then was a lot more money. And this guy could jump on the top of a roof, he could do all the things you'd expect if you were half cyborg. All kidding aside, the cyborgs are already being built. You're going to see them on the streets everywhere. And you can be the bionic marketer with MecLabs AI. And in session 4, we're going to show you how to get closer to that. You ready? All right. So I'm going to go right to my outline, and let's just say this. There are 3 moves that we need to make today. And if we just make these 3 moves, we're on the way. And here's the first one. We've got to consolidate. One of the things that teachers do is if you build on the previous work, you can create a whole picture. But many teachers break things down into too many parts and they don't put them back together. And so you're busy trying to learn how to do that Taekwondo front kick, and it's 5 steps in your mind. But you'll never be able to use it in a real fight until it's 1 step. You'll go from 5 to 3 to 1. Let's do that here. Let's consolidate. Let's begin by this. Remember where we're going. Here it is. There are 6 conditions or aspects of the state I'd like you to be in. If you fully give me your energy, and if we give you ours, we can do this. You've invested at the right level. You know where you should be. You haven't bought the thing you don't want. You're not paying too much. You know where you need to be. You join the right cohort. Not just this one. Before we're done, you'll move into a smaller group like this with peers and collaborate together. That's where the real value is being generated in the guild. You've planned the growth that you're going to experience this year personally through the learning tracks. You remember those. They're right up here. 50 through 1,000. You're comfortable working with the basics of MecLabs AI, and you're using it more and more in your workflow. And maybe you're telling people, that was one of my original goals. Hey, this is cool. If it's cool, then, that'll happen naturally. Now, if that's where we have to go, it promotes the question. By the way, I'm going to keep hitting this all the time. Every session, you need to consolidate. We're going to consolidate everything by saying, yes, you can't all do that yet, maybe, but if you can do this, you're on the way. Now, I have added to this. The original version had less checkboxes, but when you can go check, all the way through here, you're good. And if you've seen in Circle, we posted the updated checklist, and this will come back to, this was last week's framework for context. We'll come back to that. But here are your gut checks, and you need them in here. And if you just stay up to this, it'll help you. And Graham, I sort of talking to different people on different levels in here. If, as you're standing up your business, if you bring people in, they all need to start in 50. And this is the experience they'll have so that the value is being perceived. Now, in keeping with this checklist, you had an assignment last week, and some of you didn't do it. Some of you did. Here's the assignment. And I'm going to ask, who's on here? Well, I don't see some of the folks have done their assignments. Keep an eye on this. Tracy, I don't see you on here. If you are, speak to this. But I'll look at my table. Oh, there we go. Okay, Irene, tell us what you experienced doing the homework, and while she does that, I'm going to remind you of the assignment. So let me just slow this down. Here we go. There's where we need to be. There's the review of the teaching. There's the discussion of assignments. All right, here it is. These 4 points guided us. Irene, tell us what you did and what you experienced.
I came up with a list of, I think I had like 5 or 6 items that turn out to be somewhat broad in terms of asking the AI to break it down. It was interesting because I looked at Tracy's homework and she gave a lot more detail about specific smaller tasks. I had sort of large, sort of broader goals, and I think what she got might have been more productive. Although I did find what it fed me helpful, and it sort of invited me to go deeper into exactly the best way to go about these tasks and the knowledge that the AI has to help me do it more effectively.
Okay.
But as far as technically scheduling it, I think I've really done better breaking it down more.
Yeah, that is a really good insight. And you're going to get out of this what you put into it. And let me show you what Tracy did. So she says, I have a short work week due to travel and I need to get as much as possible done. Structure my day for the rest of the day and all day Wednesday. Here are my must do's. Isn't that good? She gave it good context.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, see, if I was sharing that with somebody, I'd come in here and clean this and make this a little easier to understand, right? You can do that. But we won't right now. Just the idea is that it's a little hard to absorb, but it was smart. Now look, let's construct a highly efficient schedule to maximize your short work week. There's your morning. There's what you should do midday. There's your afternoon, late afternoon. But she pushed it deep further and she said, how now mix my meetings in. So she gave her the meetings that were important. So the meetings are all mixed in. And it's all laid out I've already done the update maintenance task, so that can go away. Move the task to promote a post today. Do you see she literally read it, engaged with it, didn't take it just as it came, but added a few thoughts to it to make it better. Now, I want to just pause here. I know some incredibly capable people, but they don't get their talent is never maximized because one of their gaps is the ability to direct their energy in a prioritized and focused way. And when you put that person on a team with somebody, they can do way more. I tend to put them in a team, surround them with the right people. I have designers like that. I have a genius designer who can do amazing work, but he's not wired to follow a routine directly. I'm trying to tell you that, Lincoln said if he had 8 hours to chop down a tree, he'd spend 7 sharpening his axe. Here's how to sharpen your axe. Let's keep going. What is the best way for someone with ADHD to stay on track? I never saw that one. And there it is. Staying on track when you have ADHD requires strategies that accommodate the unique challenges the condition present. It's about leveraging your strengths and implementing systems that increase focus, engagement, and productivity. There are several effective strategies. Break tasks into smaller steps. Use a timer. I do that one, by the way. 25-minute timers. I work in intense sessions, won't stand up. See what's going on here? See how much more she's getting by engaging at this depth. Now, the point of this assignment was not for you to rewrite your schedules. And by the way, many of you did not turn it in yet, and you missed out on learnings. And because we read every one, we put them in a table and we analyzed them again. What I'm doing right now is based on what I saw. But let me give you some. You don't really need to do that assignment as long as you do this. That is, you need to start challenging MeclabsAI with questions and problems outside of the marketing box. One of my goals, Leon, in this case, is to sort of shatter paradigms. It's not just to provide information. I'm talking MEC 50. And it's to get you to start to realize, oh my goodness. Case in point. Some of you have seen John Bush in our calls. John fed, I don't know how many tens of a huge amount of customer data to MeclabsAI this week, produced a library, and then Elizabeth, working with him, carefully constructed queries producing, like, this is enterprise level customer value from all that customer data. Breathtaking stuff. I think they had 700 questions they got answered. Can you imagine? Start thinking about different kinds of use cases. And you'll see that this exercise doesn't just make the rest of your life productive. And remember, that's it. Get productive with AI. That's the whole theme of this MEC 50. But what it does is it will improve your marketing interactions, because you start to realize, wait, I can do that. Well, then I can do this. So with that in mind, I'm going to go back to my notes. And I'm going to suggest to you that the final thing we need to do before we get into new material is just to remind you of this. In Circle, we have posted the essential notes that I taught in the last session. And of those notes, you're going to want to concentrate on that. I'll show you in Circle. That I think will be better. You want to concentrate on these things to consolidate last week. It begins here. Clear quest. You see where I'm at. MEC 50. See more. Do you see all those? The acrostic, you need that. That's how you get that's what you can do with your schedule. Clarify the objective, lay out the context, tell the priorities. Notice that, ask specifically. That's what Tracy was doing. And Irene, you started down the path. You just probably got busy and wrote, but you can see this is, the more you follow, the more you'll get. So when you're thinking, what do I take away from last week? That. Now, there is a hidden bonus, which we will not spend time on, right here above it, I think. And that is an image of how to go deep, iterating, key questions, assessing prompt quality. This is your postgraduate work for this course, and you can keep that as a backup when you're doing work in case you get stuck. Now, if you're doing that and you're staying up with your checklist or checkpoints, let's look at it right here, you're good. And that frees me as a teacher not to worry, am I getting ahead? Are you behind? It frees me to focus all in on the learnings we're going to do together today. Does this all make sense for everyone? Good. Does anybody have a question for me? Oh, all right. If you do, you can put them in chat and or reach out and when you get a moment, if you just even hold up that electronic hand, I'll just pull you out when I got a break here and we can, answer your questions. All right. And then we are here. We need to learn today how to combine experts, apps, and libraries to produce whole new levels of value. Back to the title, 81 ways to create new value. We're not going to cover 81 points. That's the old school way. The new school way is to realize, oh my goodness, there's this many combinations. Let me go mass MeclabsAI to help me with that and get deeper content. So with that in mind, I'm going to take 3, get that out of our way, and I'm going to talk about experts, apps, and libraries. I'll shift over to MeclabsAI, and I think I'm going to pin this out just a little bit. Give me just a second. Pin it and move it over. There we go. And at MeclabsAI, let's clean this up. Let's get a new chat. Let's get it out of the way. I want you to understand that these 3 pieces are vital and that we're going to be interacting with them and constantly improving them. Let's click through the first one. Again, this is 50. I know many of you know this, but some of you are brand new and you need to understand this. Every one of these people composes a team, a SWAT team for growing your business. And if you're not sure which one to use, you click here And it explains a bit. And it also gives you sample prompts. Let's just do this. I'm going to click on one. Boom. Now what happens is copyright on Facebook has already taken that prompt. You didn't even have to type anything in. It's already starting. So if you don't know where to go, you can ask Minter. We know that. But you can also use the power of a directory over here to quickly find out more. Now, I think we're going to be putting training data here. We're going to constantly update these. And folks, soon these little flat images will become 3D avatars that will spool up on your device and just talk to you like a friend. You'll be able to speak out loud to them. They'll speak back to them. You'll be able to interrupt them, and they'll have a organic conversation with you that produces far more creativity and insight. So learn to use experts, learn to use apps. Now, an app, here we have, and by the way, we've launched 2 more we're testing. These are new, CFO Builder and Competitive Analyzer. We're benchmarking them now, and then we'll refine them again, and then the final versions will be released. And now you can spool up apps. And those apps, like, let's talk about these apps particular and how to use the selection in front of us. I'll go to a bigger screen. This one can be used in your value prop to see what your competitors are doing. This helps you define the objective that will steer all of your marketing for that offer. It is your compass. Chat script. Have anybody tried Chat Transcript Analyzer? Anybody on this call tried that? Feed a chat. Okay, Lynn. Yeah, feed a chat. It's getting better all the time too. Feed a chat transcript in there and watch it tear it to shreds and help you get content and value out of it. Now, there are 2 ways you could use a chat. You could upload it to a library, and you do that right over here in settings. Now that it's in a library, you can query it with all your experts. So let's take Alexander. Alexander, I don't know what country you're in. Tell me.
We're in Texas.
Oh, the country of Texas. That is a country.
Yes.
So, guys.
From Canada.
All right. Well, here's the point. You can take something like this, feed it into the library, query it with your team of experts, and suddenly you're not like a company of 2 people. I'm not saying that's what you are, but think. You really have a staff now to do tons of work. That's how you got to think like this. Don't think tool, think staff. And your staff have tools. And you can empower your staff with resources. Those are called libraries. So if you have a great library, a set of tools, and some experts, you can do amazing things in the world, things no one's ever thought of before. And right now, our libraries are starting to produce things no one even considered. And the enterprise level opportunities for that are enormous for you. But let's keep going. Web page analyzer, we've seen, breaks the web page down. I've shown it to you before. You're all familiar with it, right? We shouldn't click through and show it, right? If you don't know what to do here, web page analyzer, put a URL in or control or just paste all the content from your web page right here in the field and hit go. Cool things are, you don't even have to say go, just paste it in and hit the send, it'll happen. CTA Builder will help you. Remember the 8 micro yeses? Look at them. Here's 7, 8. They're all in here. These 8 micro yeses, MY4, MY5, those little numbers stand for the micro yes, and all compelling offers consist of 8 powerful micro yeses. You say, wait a second, I'm not familiar with that part of your methodology. Okay, somebody smart on here, tell me what you do next then. You go to who?
AI Mentor.
AI Mentor, or one more. I'll help you. Marketing Professor.
Marketing Professor.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of intuitive. AI Mentor or Marketing Professor will tell you what the 8 micro yeses are. I'd go to Marketing Professor and say, show me the 8 micro yeses. What, you don't understand? I say, ask for an example. You know, like, treat it like a person. Now, wait, those 8 are compelling, but let's suppose you already know them. Well, 7 and 8 have to do with your CTA. So I just click here. And now this tool, this app, it's not for conversations. It's for analyzing or improving your CTA. Let's see what happens when I hit go. I don't know. To proceed in a way that aligns with our principles and goals, I need specific. Isn't that smart? Like, it's not going to give you some GPT BS. It needs to understand something. So we go over here and we grab any page, business category, SEO. I'll go to, there's a tool that we all know, but let's go to something. Let's do this. Let's go in 4D and let's see if we can find, they're still, I'll tell you folks, the search engines are drivel now. Google is a joke. It's every opportunity they can to stick an ad in your face instead of help you. But let's go on, and Bing uses that, the same process. Let's go here. We all know who MailChimp is. I can't even find an original company. You notice that they're all big brands.
Mm-hmm.
Like where do I find? It's just messed up. But let's just keep going. So please click here if this page is not redirected immediately. All right, I'll try to click. Look at this. I'm not messing with this. Let's go one more time. We know Yoast too. I can't find a single brand on here that's not like. But if I go Control C, then I can come back over to my little tool and I can go, let's put that in there. And I'm going to now give you a complex, ready? Here we go. Make my CTA better. That's a real hard prompt. Okay. Now we gave it some information. It wants to help craft a compelling action that aligns with MecLab's principles. Let's analyze and enhance your existing message. The current format presents a comprehensive guide using Yoast SEO. On it goes. Current observations, objective, proposed call to action variations, why it could work. Do you see what's going on here? What would a client pay for you to do this? Variation 2, elevate. Elevate. I can't get it, does not say elevate, but there it is. It's still really good. This tool will really help you get the 8th micro yes right. You get all 7 right, or all 8 right, you've nailed it. Let's go back. Let's go back to our directory. So if you think CTA Builder helps you get micro yes 7 and 8, all the way through to micro yes 1 and 2. Here's a test for somebody that's been into this. Mohamedou, what's micro yes 1? Yes, I will what?
Yes, I'll pay attention.
Okay. Graham, micro yes 2. Yes, I will
engage deeper.
Yes, and that's typically produced by your subheadline and your maybe a 6.5 and a few bullets. That's what produces a lot of that. Oh, that's enough. You give them enough to say I've got to go more. In fact, here's the trick. You give them enough that they say I can't rule this out of my consideration set. Do you understand that? That way you're in and they're going to invest a little energy. Now, we're going to come back to micro yes 1 and 2. But my point is, these apps will get your message really dialed in. And let's take, we said how to work with experts, apps, and libraries. So watch the next move. I'm going to go back to my actual chat experience. And so I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to ask Beth. Beth, how do I find the chat I was just doing, or the app results that I just pulled up, that interaction?
Don't know.
It's okay. That's, if
I'm still learning it. I don't know.
That's okay. I'm going to show you now. You haven't been in all of these from the beginning, so nobody's faulting you. Finish the cycle and you'll have it. And I have learned, if you study some of the best learning research, and by the way, the best book on the most contemporary learning research teachers is Make It Stick. I know those guys, and it's really good. It's based on, it's a what we call in academics a popular book, but it's based on like 200 studies, and you really learn from that as a teacher. And Irene, when I put you on the spot and your brain does that thing, I open up a neural link, a neural pathway. And if I do this just right, I lay something in, it sticks. I bet it's going to happen right now. Seriously, because we're being intentional. So here I go. See where I'm going to click? That's going to change to interaction history. Calling these chats trivializes them. People will think that's what you have with a chat bot. My team, this is not a chat. It's way more. You build stuff in here, you're going to see. Now watch. Do you see a little clock? And if you really want to get it, you'll never forget it. Do it as I do it. Look at your version, because the action will do the final piece to lay that network right, connect it. I'm going to click on there, and I can go right to my last thing. I think it was this. Let's see. Yeah. CTA builder. All right. Now notice this. Notice the picture. It's not a picture of a person, because this is an app. But now it's time to bring in an expert. Somebody. Which expert could I bring in to work with my CTA?
Conversion Pro.
Yeah, I would use Conversion Pro, or I would use Marketing Professor. It's been my experience that Conversion Pro is so radically focused on the methodology that when I want bigger picture, I go to Marketing Professor. When I want to stay real tightly, I go to Conversion Pro. This is just, sort of an experience. But I'm going to go to Conversion Pro, and I'm going to say, read the results of this app and help me design a much more effective CTA. Also suggest my testing strategy. Now we'll see if that took. I sometimes go too fast when I'm teaching. I'm going to hit at this just in case it's catching up with me. Otherwise, I have to do it again because it wasn't. Well, there it is. Okay, Conversion Pro. Design a more effective CTA based on your app's results and guided by MecLab's principles. We should focus on tailoring the message to encourage immediate user action while ensuring it aligns with the specific value your app offers. Boom. Propose CTA design. Unlock immediate results now. This is for that company. There's the button color. This here, font and text, placement, action pathway, examples based on possible results. Remember the effectiveness. Wait, this is what I do next. Wait, where is my testing plan? Talk to it like you would if your team member just presented and you looked at the deck and you said, yeah, but there was another piece. There it comes. Define your goals, primary objectives, success metrics, develop your hypotheses, design the test. There it is. Now, if I really needed to go deeper, how many of you have heard there are different kinds of tests, like Z-tests? Like you don't even know what they are, but there's like different ways to run a test. Multivariate, all that stuff. Well, I'd go over here to my friend at data scientist. He's a genius. And I'd say to data scientist, I'd say, I'm not sure which testing methodology I would like to use, period. Please recommend one, but also outline my other options and explain the underlying science. So I'm sitting in a meeting with my SWAT team. We just reviewed the CTA. We now have Conversion Pro suggesting a way for us to improve it and various versions. Now the data scientist is recommending, he recommends, and he's right, shouldn't be multivariate. He recommends the testing. He shows multivariate, MVT, split URL testing, sequential testing, which we helped pioneer, and Bayesian testing. Describe, look what's going on. Do you see that your data scientist knows this? Now, just to show you how deep he can go, I can say to data scientists, now, explain in great detail the underlying math for the Bayesian methodology of testing. Side note for my friends, I am reinventing the testing process. I think statisticians have lost their way and become professional liars. But let's keep going. Take a look here. Bayesian testing is a versatile and powerful approach. There's Bayes' theorem laid out. There's the whole thing. Do you see the depth? Folks, there's almost no end to where you can go. But we're going to go back to our notes, because when you see this kind of, work, hey, would you like me to post this in, I want to see what I got here. You want me to post this right now in the chat? Boom. So you can review it later. Create link, copy link. You see what I just did there, Beth? I'll show that again. I went so fast. I just hit the little share button at the top. I copied it already, that little share button. And everything else was just intuitive. So I go over here now to share, and I'm just going to dump it in for you. Adrian, if you were teaching yourself, let me see. I'm looking for, I hit the wrong thing. Let me get my chat. There it is. All right. I'm pasting it for you right now. Boom, Control V. And you can pick up that experience and see what happened in depth. Sometimes I do that just so you can see we're not glossing it over. Like there it all is. Any mistakes, problems. Remember, it didn't give me a testing plan. I had to ask it for it twice. I've got some employees like that too. All right, now we'll put this here. We'll go here, and you're going to say, "Oh, well, where am I supposed to be now?" Don't worry. All we're going to do is these checkpoints. And the reason that Beth, you couldn't answer that question is because you can't check all these yet, and you can't because you didn't start at the beginning. So we're going to catch any problems in the system. This teaching system is going to find if you have a gap, and we're going to fill it. Now let's keep going. So I said we need to learn how to combine. I said directories. We just finished a discussion of directories. And I would like to spend more time there. But let's go back again. Let me take you to MeclabsAI and point out that what I will often do is use an app to get an output and use an expert to get insights from the output. Say it again. Use an app to get an output. Now, where does a library come from? A library gives data from my app to get an output, so my expert can give me an insight. Sometimes I can just bypass that. Let's use a library right now. I'm going to go to the A/B test. No, let's see. Who has an actual use case? Oh, let's go to subscriptions. Anybody want to sell a subscription to something? Okay. All right, so I'm going to click on subscriptions. I'm going to say now notice something. Notice this thing. When I have a data scientist up, I don't have an app up. Do you see that? When I have an app up, I can't have an expert up. That's cool. You can always have an app in a library or an expert in a library, but you can't have both at the same time because if this is real, and it wouldn't work if an expert and the app are both stepping on each other. So I'm going to use all three. I'm going to go to my subscription library. Right now, I'm just going to do this. I need to improve the retention for my subscription offer, period. Can you review the library, extract the top 5 principles that drive retention? Boom. Now, imagine that the Marketing Sherpa library is being spooled up, 20 years of research, and I am now getting the 5 most important ways from that library you can improve retention. You can provide exceptional value up front, continuous engagement and communication, easy and convenient user experiences, personalization and customization, or build a community. Sounds familiar, actually, doesn't it? Now, hold on. There's implementation into strategy. And now I can come to somebody like, let's just close this guy out and click on here. And I could do 2 things. I could go to my web page and spool an app up. Can someone give me a subscription web page URL right now? Anyone have an idea?
Amazon Music.
Say it again. Yeah, just paste it in chat. I'm going to copy it. Paste a URL in so we can see this in real time. While you're doing that, while you're getting it, let me show you something. You say, well, what about that library and subscriptions? What is it? Well, we go over to our directory of libraries. And let's see. We went to the subscription library. Oh, here it is. And now we can see what it's all about. And there's sample content titles from it. And I got the whole thing right there. So I know how to use it. So I go back now. I've got a URL. I'm going to copy it, Control C. I'm going to paste it right into the same conversation. So let's spool that conversation back up. I'm going to go to my chat history. I'm going to hit go again. I'm back in my conversation. I am now going to paste that URL in. And this time I'm going to close out subscriptions and pull up Web Page Analyzer. And now Web Page Analyzer is going to give me if we can get through to their website, let's see if that took. I think it did. All right, let's pull it up, see what's going on here. There it is. So the site you just gave me, there's its headline, its CTA, its main bullet points, its core pricing, and its value proposition. There's the main evidentials it uses to support its message, and there's even advice on how to improve the page. Now, wait a second. I have a subscription library. I have principles. Now let's get an expert. I'll go over to Marketing Professor. I could use Conversion Pro here, and I'm going to say this now. Let's apply the 5 principles extracted from the library to my own offer, period. You can get my offer by reviewing this interaction with Web Page Analyzer. Suddenly, we have a expert. He's unable to direct from the external links. Oh, it doesn't need to. Good. He's going back to the 5 principles, making sure that we have the right thing. So now we have an expert taking the 5 principles, and we used an app to give that expert some context to apply the principles. And now we're going to apply them to your web page. And here it is. And I'm going to say, apply this to the web page above with a detailed set of steps that I can convert to an action plan. Now, as I start to do that, gang, I can next, because I'm going to move on, go over to Project Planner and turn this into what I do this week. Boom. So I just used a library. I just used an expert, and I just used an app to get more value than I could have got if I'd hired an agency. I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to show you something else. Any questions so far? Are you learning? Is this good for you?
Yes, yes. Can we have the shared chat?
All right. Well, I'm going to give you an assignment, and I'm going to show. Yeah. I'll get you the share chat, guys. But let me keep going right now. I'm looking through these bullets, and so I want you to see the next critical piece. It's really cool. So I'll go back over to the 8 micro yeses. Remember? Let's look at our apps. Remember the 8 ones that are right here? We saw them. We saw them in the directory. You can see them here too. They're all here on the left. These 8 micro yeses. 8. There's 1 and 2. They're not in order, but they're here. 3, 4, 5, 6. You see them? All right. Now, 1 and 2 has a headline builder. But folks, you may not realize, but when you learn at the next level, that's not it. And I'm going to give you the foundation of this. But when you learn to do this yourself, to create your own experts, apps, and libraries, you are coding with your voice. So I'm going to show you what you can happen when you code with your voice. This is called micro yes 1 and 2. Someone already told me, yes, I will. Now, to prep for this, Leon, could you help me with one thing, friend?
I can certainly try, yeah.
I need take a business and get me some basic information that I can give to my headline builder. We're going to paste it in chat, and then I'm going to paste it in here. And it's sort of like, what is the problem they solve, and what is their offer for solving it? It could be like 3 sentences. It doesn't need to be long. You're going to see why in a moment. Any business.
Are you talking about a website?
Yeah. But I don't need the whole website. I just need the problem they solve and what their solution is. You're going to see why in a moment.
Okay.
While you're looking at it, I'll give you more direction in a moment, but I'm only looking for, a paragraph. And here's how we're going to see why that's important. So I could go over here, and I'm going to show you what this is. This is freestyle. See headline builder here? Freestyle. Just I click one of these and we're starting to interact like we're all sitting in a room figuring out our headline. But this one will start by giving you the framework, and then I could bring an expert in. But here's what happens if you want to make it easier for yourself. Ready? Watch this little side peek. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to say, start crafting a headline. Now, as I start to craft a headline, some cool things are going to occur. I hope. Seems like it's taking a while to load.
Flint, got a website in the chat.
Well, what's going to happen is you're going to see this. See that side peak? It was waiting for me to click on it. I didn't see that. Everybody catch that. When I click that over here, I have two options. Option one is I can just learn the principles of doing this right. Remember the fast classes in MEC 101? They're right here. This is the one on headlines. But if I don't want to watch a 10-minute video and learn how to do it, I can come over to here and just say, no, let's just go. What I asked you for, Leon, was right here. Give me a company name if you could for that company, whatever one you were looking at just now.
There's the younghustlers.club.
Okay. I'm just going to say this for now. All right. Now, what can I see before I go any further? What I asked Leon to do was to save us time. Look, all I really need to do is this. My customer's looking for the best way to solve what? See the little blank? Put it in here. Somebody tell me. Solve what? Leon, if you know, West Bay to solve what problem are they coming there for?
To assist kids create their own future after school.
Okay, so your to train to find to train
To help or to help. To help kids create their own futures after school.
Futures is too vague. Their own what? Career?
Career, correct.
Now, most prospects who don't purchase a solution from me tend to purchase a solution from one of these up. Can you guys see underlying this question is deep methodology? It is. When they don't buy from you, what do? Probably nothing, right? They're not
nothing. Correct.
They take no action. Our product or service is designed to briefly describe your product or service, to
Our entrepreneur program.
enroll them in a entrepreneurial program. You wouldn't have to correct this spelling. Customers find I'm not even going to do this part, but do you see the extra work here? Find these features and benefits to be most appealing. Insert your top 5. My product or service is the best solution because it has this unique element. Do you see all the elements of the value prop coming together here? I won't do the top 5, but what's your exclusivity?
It's the only one in the country. Only program in the country.
There's exclusivity, don't you think, guys? All right, now, Leon's only problem is the kids don't really pay for it. That's why we need to make with him $1 gazillion, okay? Now, how many of you believe that when people like Leon are doing things like this to help people and we can leverage MeclabsAI, we should all help him succeed with a program like this? Some of you could be guest teachers. Some of you, I don't know how you could interact, but man, you should. There's a big opportunity here. But let's just go now. All right, now, here's my next step coming. Continue, watch. You can see the upcoming steps. Continue. Which problem's the biggest? They don't understand the offer, they don't believe it, or they don't appreciate what's unique? Probably never heard of it.
They don't know that we have this. That's the big problem.
I'm going to make this then. People don't understand my offer right now is the main priority, but you can drag and drop. See this, guys? Watch. Boom. Now it changes. Boom. Changes again. Just drag them up. Okay. So I'm going to put this. People don't understand my offer. Now, look, review and star your preferred headlines. I just hit continue. What happens next? Look what's coming over here. Now I can regenerate all the headlines. I can hit a drop down and choose the tone I want them to be in. Let's make them, just for this time, male focused. I know that you have male and female, but that'll really have an impact on probably how it works. Now I'm going to pick one. I don't like that male focus, so I'm going to change it. Let's just make it celebratory. That might work too. So now we have a new batch coming up. Now, I'm going to pick some I'm interested in and star some. If I pin it, it means I might want to come back to that. That's interesting. I'm not even reading them right now. And then I'm going to just star one. So I have one starred and it becomes number one. I start here, it's number one, and the pin ones are all here. All right. Now look, wait, I can go deeper right now. I can watch a fast class right now, but I'm not. I'm going to continue. Wait, there it is. Now you have my headline, but why is this little circle turning? See the little circle up here spinning? Because goodness is going to come from that little circle. Okay. There it is. Now we've sentence diagrammed that headline. I can see, and look, if I want to craft art, I can change the word, expectations. I have word selections. This is broken it, color coded into the parts of speech, and it gives me the levers to improve my output with.
Sure.
So let's say I'm going to take a role and I'm going to change it. Watch. I click drop down, join. Boom. Now my headline says join. And look, I don't care about the headline because we won't be right till we give it the right context, but I'm showing you what you do next. What happens when I hit continue? There's your headline. There's its tone. There's the reason it was chosen. There's the optional headlines that you may want to test later. There's your customer's motivation factors. And there's the problem your customers face. There's the problem your business faces. And if you're an agency or you're a lead in a marketing department, download the full report. And now you can print it or make a PDF for someone. So I'm going back. Folks, that capability is simply another combination of experts and apps and libraries. And it's just been spooled up so that you can see the possibilities, but also because a lot of people get stuck on the headline and it gives you a very prescriptive way to get through that sticking point. Okay. So I'm going to close that by suggesting a little bit more. Look over here now. Let's close this one out. Let's go back. Look, everyone, if I want to get to clean again, see MeclabsAI, click on the logo. Okay. And also remember, you can go up, but it goes up again. Like it's bigger. You want more workspace, click it a second time. Now it's even bigger. So you got a lot of real estate to work within. These are right at the top, so you can pick which one is appropriate for you. And then here's where your interactions will spool up. Let's leave this up, but let's start a fresh chat, and I'm going to show you something else. Now, let's suppose that in the use of experts, apps, and libraries, I need to illustrate something. Watch. I won't, you can't do this with an app. You need an expert to help draw it. I'll pull up Marketing Professor. I'm going to say something like this. My mouse isn't clicking in there. I hope I haven't loaded my memory. Let me reload just to make sure I'm not. I max out Edge's browsers because I have so much happening around me. All right, but I'm still ready. And I'm going to, it's there now. It just was, my Edge was hung. And now I could do this. By the way, everyone, I wouldn't do it this way. I'd click on start recording. I can't do that on a call, but I'm going to do it this way right now. Here we go. I need to illustrate the power of concentrating your marketing energies for a class I'm teaching later today, period. Please produce a compelling image. Now, the first time we ever saw something like this, it was mind-blowing, but you've seen GPT produce an image. And by the way, do you know what's driving this one? It may change later, but the most advanced version of DALL-E is driving this image creation. We use DALL-E, we use GPT, we use Google, we use whatever's best underneath the hood, and it changes. Okay. Now, you can like it or not. It's easy if you don't like it. Tell it what you don't like, tell it to fix it. But what if you want to use it, but you need to make some changes? See, that's kind of cool. That's the target. The arrow's hitting the target. I see where it's going. So I'm going to go over here. And this is really important. I can do this or this. You could miss those. Slide over the image and there's a surprise. You click on this little edit feature. And wait a second. now I've got full capabilities. I don't mean like you see in some of these knockoff little things where you can simply scan, but I almost wish I put this on a bigger screen because it's on a smaller screen for the purposes of this session. And on a bigger screen, you got a lot more to work with. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this up and I'll probably lose it. You won't see it. You can't see it, can you? All right, so let me minimize my video of you and change my screen share so you can really see it better. I think it's worth it. So stop share, and then I'm going to share, and I'm going to go to this bigger version, share. All right, now we'll get this going. So now see the left toolbar? You can look at this. You can fine tune it, contrast, saturation. Look at this, temperature. Let's play with temperature. See the temperature changing? See the color change? You can add gamma. You can improve clarity. You can create a vignette. What's a vignette? Watch. You come over here and you can annotate on it. Line color. Oh. Now you can add text. Marketer, can you see why that's powerful? Look at here. Concentrate. Now, I can take that text and do something, but I won't spend any more time. I hope you're getting the idea. Let's keep going. I can put a sticker on it. I can frame it. There you go. I would work on that text. I don't want to get to work on it right now. This is not meant to replace Photoshop, but how many of you can see use cases right in the middle of your workflow to quickly stamp out an image and use it in your work? I can't see you, so somebody give me some audio feedback while I change my screen and get back to where we need to be. What's the use case for the tool that you just saw? Somebody tell me that.
Mock-ups.
What's that? Say it again?
Mock-up for presentations.
Yeah, yes. Graphics, illustrations. Even if you were doing a wireframe, you could do a temporary image just suggestive for a designer to pick up and keep going with. But I do regularly produce high quality images of the finest value doing so. I can do it here if I take a little time. I am not telling you it's the same as one of those big tools, but it's so much better than the little cheap things that people are producing. Use them and get more value. Now, we're not done. Let me get my gallery set up, team, so that I can see you again. I, changed everything for just a moment. And is my video on? And Clef, come and assist me. Is it behind here? My gallery's disappeared, buddy. I'm going to have Cliff come in here so I can see you, but I'm going to keep teaching. I just can't see anyone right now. And I do a better, wait, no, I still can't find it. I know it is. It's bad usability. But we're going to keep going. Team, I can't see you right now. So there it is. Look at this. See where it's hidden?
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yep. All right. I got you now. Are you ready to keep going? I'm glad you had a chance to come up for air because I'm getting ready to go on to a full-scale assault here. So let me get my document ready. Can you see it now? See my screen share? All right.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. So now you can do image editing. You understand the headline. You see that resources. Let's double down on that. Go back to MeclabsAI. We do a really bad job of this. And we're going to fix it. But when you are working in here, let's just spool it up a little bit. Let's get out of image editor. Let's get out of that whole side peak thing. So I'm going to just close that whole thing and go back over to here and maybe pick up a previous chat, close it. There we go. See that little X? Do you see helpful resources? I've been angry at that for a month. No, maybe 3 months. What a dumb understatement for what that tooltip should be. Terrible optimization. This is more than helpful resources. For instance, this is the entire 26 classes of our course in online psychology and digital conversion. You can take it right here. You could be stuck on something and click up on the video. There it is. Start learning in real time right here. Okay. Those are the resources, and we're constantly building that out. This whole panel is being transformed. That was V1, version 1. It's going to get more useful. For those of you like Leon, you're already a teacher. For our partners, we're going to create their own ability to stand up these panels and put their own resources in them and teach right in their instance of MecLabs AI. You would brand it your own colors and have your own courses in it. All right, I'm closing that back out. Any comments, thoughts, or questions? I'm going to ask a student to help me help with the other students. Graham, what should people be walking away from right now? Is there a walking, like, what's the big takeaways from what we've said thus far?
Well, there were several things for me. I picked up on the not doing the homework from last week, so basically there's a few things to catch up on. But you mentioned the word SWAT team, and the ability to use the team rather than thinking of them as softwares or things of that nature. I think the image capability is a real enhancement for us, and it's something that will become used on I've just tested whilst I was looking at something else, trying to create a logo for something, and they have AI has a particular style with logos, but I have nothing much more to say, to be honest with you.
No, that's valuable, and also we're exploring bringing in tools like Leonardo. If you know they're very advanced imaging capabilities, we want to run an API directly into here to give you more options. And yes, Taylor, I'm over. Do I have another call I'm stepping on? I do. Okay. Hey, do you want me to give you those last 4 minutes? I have something for you. Okay. If you can stick, I'll give them to you, and then I'll jump onto my other call. Here's your homework. But this homework is not an exercise. It is absolutely important to the future quality of your responses. We need to build a master, it's called an MCD, a master context doc. The master context doc is going to inform every interaction you have. You can create a prompt from it, which I'll show you later. And then every time you ask MeclabsAI a question, it's answering through the lens of your industry and your business. Did you hear that? Now, let's talk about how you can start building that this week and post it in Circle. Go to MeclabsAI. The first thing to do is, I wouldn't even paste the URL. Go to your main web page that has your main offer, which is often your homepage. Paste it here and bring up this app called Web Page Analyzer. Do you know what it's going to do? You just saw it's going to build a table all about the content on your website. It's going to understand your website. So the moment I ask any other question, if you put that in at the beginning of this interaction, see, right now you can manually paste it in, and the next thing you build it, and later we'll show you just paste it in and start your questions. But if you create a prompt from it, you can actually attach it in here, and you'll always be driving what you're doing. I'll show you how to do that in a different class. Right now, all you want to do is build it. Let me tell you the things to do. And I think it might be easier if I pick up that chat we started with and look at one. So let's go back to that time when we asked it to do that, and let's just see what it starts with. We used Web Page Analyzer in here somewhere. Mm-hmm. See how much we spooled up already? It's a lot of work. See, there's a web page pasted in. I'm looking for a table. I don't see the table, but we just had, there it is. All right, so we pasted agency intelligence. We pasted this in here. We got all of this information. Now I can ask an expert to help me with something, and it knows what I'm trying to do. It knows my CTA. It understands my evidentials. It reads the value proposition, and it gives me smarter, better, relevant answers. So the first thing you want to do is, like in any format, any doc you want, get this done. Run Web Page Analyzer. Okay? Now here's the next thing. Spool up Marketing Professor. You might want to write this down and have a conversation with Marketing Professor, sharing your goals. You may not be really good. The reason I don't just say write them in here is because a lot of people, when I ask the question, they stumble. to get clarity around their own objectives and goals and priorities for the short term. I am focused in that conversation on identifying goals and priorities. Do you hear that next step? So the first thing I did was show it the basic information about my website. That was an app. Then I spooled up Marketing Professor, and I would say, I'm trying to get clarity on my goals. This is what I'm thinking. Do you have any suggestions? Isn't that how you say it to a person if you were just sitting down with your partner? So sit down with your partner and have a conversation about what your goals should be. Here comes the next caveat. Give it a time limit. What I mean is for the next quarter, for the year, but don't go forever. If it doesn't have an end date, it's not as tight as it needs to be for the best help. So then give your goals and priorities some sort of time frame. Now that you have that, say this to Marketing Professor. Here's your next step. I would try it with Professor and I would try it with Mentor. One of those two. I would say try both. And say, read my conversation with Marketing Professor and help me reduce this to a concise set of bullet points I can add to a context document I'm building on my business. You don't have to use those exact words. But what you want to do is abstract from the conversation just 5 critical points. Do you get that? Because you're going to paste those goals and priorities and time frame underneath this thing in your document. So if I was building my document, I would be pasting just this part, Control C, and let's just do it. New tab. Let's go boom. And just getting a sense of what I mean here very quickly. Let's just go down to the bottom. I would paste it in here. Boom. All that. See? It pastes nicely. Then I would put something like this. These are my top goals and priorities. And boom. And then you paste that concise answer right here. All right? You got that so far? Now, at that point, you can do a couple of things. You've already got something you can work with right there. If you put that at the beginning of any interaction that you want that's about this business, and you have to do it every time you paste, just at the beginning of a new conversation. You know that, Beth, just to be clear on that with you, because again, you're new. When you click up here, it starts a new conversation. And what you don't want to do, and this is really an important tip for 50, is confuse this person any more than you want to confuse a person on your team. When you start a new topic, start a new conversation. Otherwise, it's confused because it sends the whole conversation back every time you ask a question. So we can read all of what you've been talking about to give you a better answer. We designed it that way. Also, you can get conversations become so long that you just think stop working. I mean, eventually we have limiters we have to place in the API and you'll hit the wall. So spool up a new one. And then you may want to do one more step. Oh, I'm out. I'm out of town. I'm out of time. I'll put the rest in circle. I promise to leave. We have another conversation. Is today helped you, team? If I was a better teacher, I would have ended right on time. But I'd rather be not as good a teacher when you get the point. So I'll go to the next one and we'll get that meeting underway. Thank you so much, team. See you later.